What if I told you Jen Hackman's life wasn't just about fame and fortune? Behind the glowing Oscars, the wealth, and the legendary roles lay a twisted secret that even his own children couldn't fathom. Money, mystery, and a family ripped apart by shadows. This story isn't just about an actor's rise and fall. It's about a legacy that'll leave you questioning everything. Don't miss out on the truth hidden behind Hollywood's brightest star. Built on shadows. Gene Hackman, an iconic figure in Hollywood, left behind more than just his legendary status and accolades. He left a fortune, one that promised to secure his family's future, yet ultimately threatened to unravel the bonds they had left. Over $80 million in assets, real estate, stocks, and undisclosed investments, all cloaked in mystery. But what was hidden behind this vast wealth? What caused the cracks in the Hackman family, and why did the final curtain of his life fall in silence? Disappearing into the desert. Gene Hackman, once a towering figure in the film industry, quietly withdrew from the world in his final years. Unlike the grand farewells expected from stars of his caliber, Hackman chose a path of seclusion. His retreat to Santa Fe, New Mexico, was a silent statement, a choice to escape the demands of fame and the shadow it cast on his life. No more interviews, no more public appearances, just a man lost in the solitude of the desert, hoping for peace after decades of living in the limelight. Strained bonds and silent regrets. Behind the Oscar-winning actor, behind the man revered by millions, there existed a far less visible story. Hackman was a distant father, his children raised in the absence of warmth or affection. Financial support was abundant, but love, connection, and time. These were the things Hackman could never give. His strained relationship with his children, Elizabeth and Christopher, was a direct result of his obsession with his career and his inability to show up when it truly mattered. More than just a desire for peace. Hackman's seclusion in Santa Fe wasn't merely for rest. It was a desperate attempt to flee from the unresolved issues festering within his family. After his second marriage to Betsy Arakawa, the coldness remained. Family gatherings were rare, and the few interactions they had were often cold and distant. Hackman had given his children the gifts of wealth, but never the gifts they truly needed: forgiveness, connection, and understanding. Secrets lurking beneath the surface. Hackman's life after Hollywood wasn't as quiet as it seemed. Unbeknownst to his family, he had established a shadow fund, a private financial network that operated with the same secrecy and control that defined his personal life. Documents later uncovered revealed a complex web of real estate, stocks, and offshore investments, all kept hidden from even those closest to him. His fortune was a fortress, and the only thing Hackman seemed to value more than his wealth was his absolute control. A fortune unveiled and secrets exposed. When Hackman passed away, his family was thrust into a world of discovery, not of peace or closure, but of complexity and secrecy. A simple will, thought to be straightforward, soon unraveled into a treasure trove of hidden assets. As they dug deeper, they uncovered bank accounts, shell companies, and secret transactions dating back to the height of Hackman's career. The true value of his estate exceeded $80 million, a figure that shocked his children. But what left them most stunned was the discovery of Hackman's refusal to trust his family with his wealth. Hackman had carefully created a labyrinth of financial walls to keep them at bay, his children never knowing the true extent of his fortune. A final confession of regrets. Among the documents found was a series of unsent letters Hackman had written to his children. Each letter was filled with cold truths and regretful admissions. To Christopher, his eldest son, Hackman confessed that he had never been the father he wanted to be. To Elizabeth, he expressed a desire to protect her from the shadow of his fame, though it had left her with nothing but distance. These letters, now decades old, were the final expressions of a man who had never learned how to love freely, or how to give his children the one thing they truly needed: his presence. The hidden charity. While Hackman's family uncovered his fortune, they also found something else: a charitable fund that Hackman had established under a false name. The fund, named The Other Gene, was dedicated to helping underprivileged children, an attempt by Hackman to atone for his own painful childhood. It was the final, elusive part of Hackman's legacy, the one act of generosity that was never meant to be publicized. Through this fund, Hackman hoped to undo some of the damage caused by his fame and the emotional walls he had built around his family. Hackman's final script. The family discovered something truly haunting, a script Hackman had written not for a film, but for his own life. It was an autobiography disguised as fiction, recounting his rise from a poor boy to a Hollywood legend. The script delved into the complexities of his relationships, the loneliness that fame had brought him, and the inner conflict between protecting his family and remaining true to himself. The last line of the script was chilling. "If there is an afterlife, I want to be born without anyone knowing who I am." Hackman's desire to vanish into obscurity, to be reborn freed from the weight of his fame, was perhaps the truest expression of the man he had always been. Hackman's personal legacy and the weight of control. As the Hackman family sifted through the documents, the emotional weight of their discovery began to take its toll. The fortune was vast, but the real inheritance Hackman had left behind was a legacy of control, secrecy, and missed opportunities for reconciliation. His children, forever burdened by the Hackman name, would never escape the shadow of their father's fame. The wealth Hackman had amassed only deepened their emotional struggles, and as they unearthed more secrets, the rift between them grew. They had never known their father, not truly. The final curtain on a complex legacy. Gene Hackman, the actor, was a legend, but Gene Hackman, the man, was a tragedy. His wealth, his fame, his legacy. All of it now stood as a monument to a life lived in the shadows. Hackman had spent his entire career hiding behind masks, playing roles that would make him a household name. But when the final curtain fell, it was not just the world that was left in awe of him. It was his own family, now forced to confront the deep divides he had left behind. In the end, Gene Hackman's greatest legacy was not his wealth, but the haunting question of who he really was. This story isn't over yet. We've only scratched the surface of Gene Hackman's twisted legacy. Imagine what other secrets might be lurking behind the lives of the stars we thought we knew. If you're hungry for more jaw-dropping tales, stay tuned for our next video. 15 Celebrity Plastic Surgery Disasters, full album Then and Now 2025. You won't believe how the stars have changed over the years, and trust me, you'll want to see it. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on these wild revelations. You've seen how one man's legacy can haunt his family. Now let's dive into the world of celebrities, where plastic surgery might be their biggest regret yet. Subscribe and keep up with the stories that no one dares to tell. You won't want to miss what's coming next.